Now let's learn about the different types of ratios which we'll be seeing in our questions. And to start with, we'll assume a simple ratio A is to B. Alright. Now, what is duplicate ratio? Very simple. In a given ratio, just square the individual terms. So A square is to B square. For example, if we have a ratio as 3 is to 5, the duplicate ratio of 3 is to 5 will be 3 square is to 5 square, which is basically 9 is to 25. Similarly, what is this sub-duplicate ratio? Very simple, just the opposite of duplicate ratio. We just need to find out the square root of both the individual terms. For example, if we have a ratio as 16 is to 49, what is going to be the sub-duplicate ratio for this? Just take a square root out of it. Square root of 16 is to square root of 49, which is basically 4 is to 7. That's it. Similarly, what is triplicate ratio? The value of A is to B should be modified as A cube is to B cube. For example, if we have a ratio as 2 is to 3, what is going to be the triplicate ratio for this? Very simple. Find the cube values of both the individual terms. So 2 cube is to 3 cube. So what is 2 cube? 8. What is 3 cube? 27. So the triplicate ratio of 2 is to 3 is 8 is to 27. So what is sub-triplicate ratio? Just the opposite of the previous concept. Find out the cubical root of A is to B. That's it. So say for example, if we need to find out the sub-triplicate ratio of 64 is to 125, what is going to be the result? So cube root of 64 is to cube root of 125. And what is cube root of 64? That's 4. What is cube root of 125? That is 5. So the sub-triplicate ratio of 64 is to 125 is 4 is to 5. Now let's see what is inverse ratio. Let's as usual assume that we have a ratio A is to B. And let's try finding the inverse ratio of this. Very simple. Find the reciprocal of these two terms. So 1 upon A is to 1 upon B. Now cross multiply the denominators. So what will we get? We will be getting B is to A. This is what is called as inverse ratio. So say for example, we have got a ratio as 4 is to 7. What is the inverse ratio of this? Too simple. Just flip the two terms. So 7 is to 4 will be the inverse ratio. Alright. Now moving on to the last idea, compound ratio. So let's assume that we have been given a set of ratios. Let's say A is to B and C is to D and E is to F. In order to find out the compound ratio, too simple. Whatever the number of terms may be given, just multiply the first terms of each ratio. So A multiplied by C multiplied by E, and then divide it by the second terms of each ratio. So B multiplied by D multiplied by F. So B times D times F. And then simplify it as much as possible. Alright. Now let's assume a small example to understand this compound ratio. Let's assume A is to B is equivalent to 4 is to 3 and C is to D is equivalent to 9 is to 16 and also E is to F is equivalent to 13 is to 18. Now applying this trick, what is going to happen? A times C, so 4 times 9 times 13 divided by B times D times F, right? So 3 times 16 times 18. Now try to simplify. So 1 4s are 4, 4 4s are 16, 1 9s are 9, 2 9s are 18. So now what is going to happen? On the top we are just left out with 13 and at the bottom we are left out with 3 4s are 12, 12 2s are 24. The compounded ratio between these three set of terms is 13 is to 24. That's it.